those of you who aren't aware of what we do and who we are, our role is actually to work with services like the Ballarat Integrated Cancer Centre, to work with other service providers in the community, to actually get them to work better together, to ensure that the resources that we do have allocated in this region are used in the most efficient and effective way, but also are all directed towards improving care and outcomes for people who are living with and beyond cancer in our region.
The financial disaster that unfolded along with my diagnosis almost saw us lose our house. Financial assistance and planning needs to be part of all hospital follow-up and not just those in the public sector.
I work in the Wellness Centre, and a couple of the projects that we've got coming up, even we actually are having a legal and financial information session which is open to all patients, whether they be private or public, and that information has been sent out to the private providers as well, and it's to try and address some of those issues as well, because I think that it is a very common story that you do hear.
As a cancer patient for the past 4.5 years suffering from melanoma, my family and I have found there is a vital need for the following service: a cancer coordinator. At the moment there is no contact or service that anyone can supply. Maybe a tiny portion of funds that are raised for research could be channelled into supporting of this undertaking.
How in an easy, simple way does everybody get access to the right information that's when they need it? And you know, Michael mentioned before, it's throughout the whole journey that you may not have thought that you needed financial advice, and that was one of the first conversations that someone might have had with you at diagnosis, and you went, what? I don't need that. But it's not actually until things unfold that you go, do you know what? I really do need that, but you don't even recall that because it seems so long ago.
When my mother had cancer, my family was assigned a social worker. The social worker handled many things for us. She got us free car parking, guided us through the Centrelink process, got us coffee, provided emotional support, etc. I don't believe this level of support happens all the time. Can we put more resources here?
And I think what you're acknowledging is the disparity between public and private and the level of access. So in the BRIC alone we have 2 full-time social workers and a part-time social worker, and certainly they are bread and butter referrals. Financial, legal concerns are a huge source of distress. And if we could get in early and assist people where possible, we do, and we advocate on their behalf.
We've mostly received very good care and support from our doctors and specialists. The best experiences we've had have been with those who are prepared to listen to patients and carers. We are usually the ones who know more than anyone else what our own needs are.
Particularly knowing about what support groups are there and connecting people, we need to do that right through the system, not just with doctors telling people what support groups are there. It's at every stage during that cancer process that you need to know what's out there and available.
When you're diagnosed with cancer, it's an incredibly stressful time in your life, and when you need to undertake chemotherapy, some of the side effects do include fatigue, and the thought for some people of actually having to go on long car journeys or have transport issues might be just a little bit too much. Chemotherapy in the home isn't for everybody, but for some people it is an option, so it is something that I think we should be considering.
There is quite rapid advances and changes that are happening in relation to chemotherapy service provision. As part of our work plan next year, we're actually undertaking a Grampians region-wide chemotherapy service plan, which will look at where are services currently being delivered, by who, how are they servicing those populations, and where is there opportunity to pick up on things that Joe has mentioned around services who may be able to, into the future, provide chemotherapy in the home.
The thing that really came through to me was how keen sufferers are to be in contact with others with similar experience, and how, looking at services, how focused they are on treatment.
One of the key messages I've heard is that people who currently deliver services want to improve the services that they deliver, and they want to improve the outcomes of the people that they're working with.
Carmel had this great idea, which I think is really good that we need to get out there, which is if everyone in our Wimmera Southern Mallee region just gave $10 each, we'd probably raise $650,000 for our new oncology building in Horsham, which just seems really simple.
If you think there's going to be overnight results, there won't be. But what you'll get, and this is the feeling I get from a very short time on the GICS board, is that we've got a lot of committed people there. And if we can take a 2 to 3 year medium-term notion in terms of how long it might take to get some of the really good ideas going, then we should live with that. And here's the start with this forum and others, whereby your voice can not only be heard but acted upon.
For the first time, I feel like I've been heard, and not just by a sympathetic friend, but by people, amazing people here who are really interested in taking this further and making it better for all of the cancer sufferers now and in the future.
Well, the process to me has been actually quite enjoyable. And I've met quite a few different people and I've enjoyed them and I've heard some good stories.
It works for me because it gives patients and their families a chance to meet with health professionals and express their experiences, which sometimes they're not always aware of.
Running these forums has actually brought the person to life, and that all we are talking about is real people, real individuals with real aspirations and desires. It's not actually about the system, so it's actually about treating people with respect, hearing what they've got to say, and then going, okay, well, how do we use that to improve cancer outcomes in the region?